What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to look at the new, much anticipated plugin from Audio Assault, the Bulldog. If you guys aren't familiar with Audio Assault, they make very budget-friendly plugins and, they look and sound really nice. This plugin is, of course, modeled after the 𝗦𝗣𝗘𝗏 pitbull, an amp that is named after a dog that is very aggressive, and I don't know that bulldogs are known for being that aggressive, but I don't think that's going to change the way the plugin sounds. This is what this one looks like and sounds like when you load it up. And that might be a little bit underwhelming for you. It is very, very dry, very low gain, even on the lead channel there. This amp has plenty of gain, it just doesn't have it when you first load it up. We're gonna focus mainly on the lead channel here. Let's flip this toggle switch to high gain. Already, it's getting much, much better. I'm gonna go in here before we get too far along, and I'm going to load up my own cabinet. This version of Bulldog is in beta, and the cabinet section is not finished yet, so I'm just gonna use my own cab IR here. I'm gonna use the 𝗦𝗣𝗘𝗀𝗀𝗍. We're gonna go back to the amp here, and I'm actually gonna counterintuitively turn this gain down to about 4, turn the volume up to about 7, compensate a little bit by turning the master volume down, and this is what we get. Alrighty, starting to sound much, much nicer there. You can see that we have a couple other switches here too. We have the edge switch and we have the boost switch. Let's press both of those. And already we are getting some really nice gain out of this amp. Now let's go over here into the EQ section and we're gonna turn the middle up. We're gonna turn the treble up, and we're gonna cut this bass a little bit. We're also gonna press this shift knob here. That's gonna shift the mids. And you can see that just gives us a nice little bump to our mids. Here's what it sounds like with the shift off. Sounding much more metal already. Now we're gonna jump over to the master section here, and I'm just gonna turn up this depth knob. Typically with amplifiers that have a depth or resonance knob, I like to get the low end out of that versus the low end in the preamp EQ section. I just find that most of the time, not all the time, depending on the amplifier, most of the time you get like a nicer lower bottom end with the depth knob than you do with the bass knob. Sometimes the bass knob can be a little bit boxy and can muddy things up, so I usually compensate by turning up the depth knob. We're gonna turn up the presence knob here a little bit. We're gonna turn down this master again. And like you can hear, we're definitely in that high gain metal territory now. I'm gonna do something here. We have this 6-band EQ in the master section, and I find that this is a lot of where the magic happens with this amplifier. Let's bump up the 5K quite a bit, bump up the 2.3K a little bit, and the 100, and hear what that sounds like. And you can just hear that is really just bringing it to life. Of course, if we wanted to go with like a really mid-heavy sound, we could sort of invert this EQ, maybe dump those highs, maybe boost up the 1.2K, something like that, and we would get this. That's not really the sound I'm going for, but I think it's really cool and just shows how versatile of a sound you can get out of this plugin and, amplifier. Okay, now even though we have added a lot of gain to this amp, we still kind of have a dry sound, it's What I mean by having a dry sound is the amp feels really, really tight. It feels like everything you play is really articulated and there's like not really any compression. And depending on you and your style, certainly for me, that can be kind of undesirable. That is why I boost most of the amplifiers that I use. They just feel a lot better to play that way for me. So let's go into the stomp section here. You can see that we have a noise gate and then we have a booster. Let me show you what this one does. This is sort of like a clean boost. Here's without the boost. So you can hear that's pretty subtle. It's not adding any gain or anything like that, but we have this tube screamer over here, and for me, I think that this thing pairs really, really well with this amplifier. I think that it just really wettens up the signal and makes it a lot more fun to play. This is what it sounds like. Man, that thing really just comes alive when you put a tube screamer on it. I really enjoy playing with the tube screamer for that reason. I want to go over something else here with this amplifier. We're going to turn this tube screamer off, and this isn't something that I would typically talk about with an amp sim or an amplifier. It's just not something I do on my channel a lot, but that's the clean section. Let's turn this clean section on here. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. I'm going to turn the treble up. I'm going to turn the middle up, leave the bass where it is, turn the bright switch on. This is what it sounds like. This amp and also the plugin has a really, really excellent clean section. And in my opinion, that's one of the reasons it's such a highly regarded amp, because it is so versatile. You can do a ton of different stuff with it, especially if you have a boost to throw in front of it. You can just get a plethora of tones with this amplifier. It is super, super versatile. And just like all the other Audio Assault plugins, you have an effects section here. So you have a delay and a reverb. You also have a graphic EQ if you really want to fine tune and sculpt your tone. I rarely ever use it, but it's there if you need it. This is what the delay and reverb sound like. Sounds pretty good, and I think it's important to note that, you know, this is a full suite. It is not just a preamp. It is a cab. It has a stomp section. Also has a tuner. I didn't really talk about that, but it's there. It shows you when you're in tune. It's the full package, and I think it's probably their best offering to date in terms of amp sims. You don't see VHT Pitbull amp sims around too much, you know, so it's pretty cool that they decided to do that. All right, guys, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to leave me a comment, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.